Boom, let's do it. All right, so the mooch starts off for the man with the left foot, all right? First thing we're going to do is link behind our body, right? So we're gonna create our full-way rock behind the body like this. So we have to create a quarter of a turn. So wherever we're standing, right, you don't wanna go straight back. We wanna make sure that we can open up our body behind there. Then we put the heel down and rock forward. Now, this may be for some of you the first time you're learning to flick. So here's what you do, right? You take your left foot, and we'll bring some of this to more of a, I suppose, a description at the end. But we're going to flick, then we're going to replace the feet, then flick, and then replace the feet together. Then we do another link rock, right? And then our chassé to the left. At the end of that, we then repeat it all again. So this time, going back on the right foot, all right, as the man. So back, then replace the weight forward, and then we flick again. We close and replace. Flick again, close and replace, and then our link, and then a chassé to the side. And that's it. That is the mooch. Now, ladies, you start with the right foot in closed position. You're gonna rock back, whoom. Then replace the weight forward, then flick, change feet, flick, change feet, back, replace, chassé to the side, and then go on the left foot this time, going backwards. Back, replace, flick, change feet, flick, change feet, back, replace, chassé to the side. Right, that's the mooch. It's a great step. You try that now. We'll do it one more time. So I'll do this as the man. Here we go. And so back, replace, flick, close, link, rock, chassé to the side. Now the other way. Back, replace, flick, close, link, rock, chassé to the side. Okay? Ladies, let's give yours a go. So you're starting with the right foot, okay? So you go. And back, replace, flick, close, a link, rock, chassé to the side, link, rock, a flick, close, a link, rock, chassé to the side. All right, so the footwork is quite straightforward. As we talked about last week in the change of places episode, there are basically two acceptable ways to do a chassé, all right? So the chassé in the middle we discussed in the last episode. Make sure you check that out if you need to refresh yourself. So basically Jive is quite straightforward in this sense, right? So anytime you do this link rock or a full-away rock, your back heel will go down. So ball heel, then ball heel. And that uses a whole count of music just as a separate side note. So anytime that heel goes down, on the back foot, that's a whole beat, and then you replace on another whole beat. Now, we flick the foot, meaning the weight stays off the leg as you kick forward, right? We'll discuss this at the end. So that is off the floor with the leg extension. Then you close, ball flat. So you have to change the feet. Flick, ball flat. Then ball flat, then to the side, ball, right? Ball flat, ball flat. At the end of that, you can now go the other way. Ball flat, then flick. Flick, change feet, whole foot, put it down. Flick, change feet, then back, ball flat, ball, flat, ball flat. You're gonna get tired of saying that. That's why the footwork in Jive is quite straightforward once you understand how things work. Now ladies, let's do your step, then we'll move on. So, put the heel down, ball heel, right? Ball heel is another way of saying it. Then flick, ball heel. Flick, ball heel. Ball heel, ball heel. Ball heel, ball heel. Now the other way. Ball heel, ball heel. Flick, ball heel, flick, ball heel, ball heel, ball heel, ball heel, ball heel. Okay, and remember, when you do that chassé, that heel can lower towards the floor. No problemo, huh? Okay, so owing to Jive's structure and music, most steps are 6 steps. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? But in, I suppose, an easier way to understand the rhythm count is counting quicks, not necessarily slows unless they're there, like the chicken walks. But quicks are an easy way to do it. So what we'll do is we'll start off as the man and we'll do it with a quick count, right? So with the left foot, we're gonna go quick, quick. There's your whole beats of music. Then quick, 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 right? Notice the little chassé rhythm, right? Then quick, 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 right? Now, I'll dance it as the lady, but we'll count it with numbers now, right? So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you notice now when you count in like up to 8, it's a little weirder, right? Because you're not hitting the ones on the links, for example. So counting the quick rhythm is a little bit easier. And if you need to go back through that, please watch this video again. But count quick, 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 that sort of idea. All right? Now, we're getting there. Let's head up into the bonus section of this video, right? Where I want to talk a little bit about how to flick, how to make things amazing, right? To make your dancing really, really pop off, okay? But if you have any questions, let me know below. First of all, I'd like to ask you a question. Reply to it in the comments before or after this video. When you flick, what is the difference between a flick and a kick in Jive, right? Write it down. What's the difference between a flick and a kick? All right, I want you to think about that and then let me know. So, if we think about, I suppose, the next part of this video, which is ready for it. Freaking love those transitions, right? So we want to think about how we're going to create the best flicking action from our legs, and then of course how we create what we call an action and a reaction in Jive. Okay, so the first things first, what is the difference between a flick and a kick, right? So when you're doing a flick in Jive, if I just bring it down here, right? A flick in Jive is going to be below the knee, all right? And when you flick, right, you're trying to shape the foot. See how I'm turning it out? Boom, like that. All right, so I'm extending the ankle and I'm making sure it's pointed down and off the floor. So that's a flicking action with whatever leg you decide to use. So it's very important that you note that we can create a shape through the foot. So you don't want to flick, for example, like this. All right, that's like weird line dancing, yeah? So you always want to make sure that you flick. Now the other thing is the leg you're on also works in conjunction with the leg you're flicking. So a flick, by definition, get off my shoe, right? Get off my shoe. That's what you're trying to get that shit off my shoe. Come on now, flick it off. So that's the flick. A kick, however, right, is anything above the knee height. So if you like sort of tap, and I haven't stretched, I'm not going to do this, but then you would kick like there, or you'd kick up to head height. That's a kicking action, yeah? So flicks are below the knee, they're down towards the floor, and then we can also kick, which is going to be above the knee towards the head. There are very few steps that do that. That's more of an advanced idea. Flicks, though, are awesome because you can do a flick and a step called a ball change. And for those who are still watching, the purpose of a flick ball change, right, as a man, or a flick ball change as a lady, right, or a back ball change, right, those sorts of ideas, is they create different contrasting rhythms, but these flick ball change actions can actually take place of any step that has a link rock in it. So as you get better and you know your syllabus, right, so you can do your change of places left to right, for example, and I can go flick, ball change, chassé, chassé, right? So the Mooch is really great because it introduces you in a pretty easy figure on how to actually start to practice flicking your feet and getting a rhythm in it as you do it, right? Then adding the ball change makes it a little bit more challenging, but it also spices up a basic routine, makes it more interesting. And as you get better, you'll end up doing, say, less linking actions and more flick ball change actions, right? And I hope that starts to make sense for some of you. But you can imagine the fun you can have in a routine, a basic routine, if you start to swap out things like that. Okay, so now, if we look at the idea of a flicking action, what is the supporting leg doing? So if I go back here, all right, so one leg might be flicking. What's the other leg doing? Is it having a nap? Hell no, right? It's not going to sleep. You actually want that supporting leg to be working. So as I go down in my flick, the leg I'm on is also working. So if you just stand on one leg for me, all right, give yourself a little, what's up, a little bit of meditation time, right? So stand on one leg. That leg is actually going to be what we call pumping, right? So It's not going to be going too hard, depends on the step, right? But essentially it's going in sympathy with the flicking leg. So as I flick my leg across, I want to go downward, right? So if I go across and down like that, 1. So you can see I'm not just going flick, step, flick, step, flick, step. See the problem? So you actually want it's called the supporting leg. So the leg that your weight is on, right? I want to make sure I get onto it, boom. Use the supporting leg. A 1, 2, a 3, 4, a 5, 6, a 7, a 8. All right, you can see that there is an action and a reaction between the legs. So don't just ever feel like you flick on its own. Okay, so we know now we flick and the supporting leg works with it, yeah? Give that a shot, feel what it's like and be like, oh man, that's actually better. Now, the body itself is not stiff. So you want to make sure that as a man or a lady, whenever you're flicking, that there's a little bit of like sponginess in your upper body, right? In here, the body, right? You want to feel it breathes, but you don't need to bounce up and down like you've had too much crack, right? You don't want to be dancing like, oh, 1, 2, flick, flick, mooching, yeah. No, too much, chill, right? It's a chill step. It's chillish, right? It's more of a rhythm feeling, right? That action, bum, bum, yada, da, da, a 1, a 2, a flick, and a 1, a 2, chasse, right? It's got more of a rhythm to it than a, as you would say, an anxiety feeling, okay? So we want to make sure that we flick our legs with some rhythm. The supporting leg works. The upper body breathes a little bit, right? Goes down and up a little bit within the body, yep? So it's not locked and dead straight, all right? Now, with the arms, because you start in a closed position, this first step is a quarter of a turn, right? So you want to make sure you link, rock, and open, hold the ladies back, life is good. But then as you flick, feel that together, boom. You're creating that nice downward and upward motion as a couple, all right? Chasse and hold the back of the lady, then open her the other way, right? And you always create that turn at the end of the beat before. So it makes it a bit easier, yeah? In terms of the free arm, if you just put your arm out to the side, I'll give it some spirit fingers right there, boom, right? You want your palm down, and you want your arm to just chill. You can put it up in the air, you can like put it behind your head if you want a bit of feeling, but you don't need to do too much with it, right? It's really just natural, okay? It's not really styled. Just keep it up to the side to make it easy for yourself. The main thing is focus it in these layers, right? Focus on getting the pattern, so link, rock, you know, flick, flick, link, rock, chasse, get used to that. Then start to focus on making sure that you're flicking with that downward action and you got that nice rhythmical feel, all right? And then you develop your chasses like I've taught in previous episodes, how to learn how to actually do those more effectively, okay? Then you play around with it. So the best time to use this step is anytime you want, right? Because you can do it from a closed position. So heaps of steps end in this position or start. So a mooch is a great way to begin a routine, especially if you have a partner, right? And you're doing maybe low-level competitions, or you're doing a medal, or you're doing social dancing. It's actually quite an easy step to start with and to lead. And then as you see in the demonstration video, I'll repeat it again for you. You'll see that you can come back to that closed position at the end of the mooch and then carry on with the basic jive. So it actually works really well. But because we did an episode on the change of places right to left and left to right, with those special developments, if you remember, it was a big class, make sure you repeat that lesson, okay? You can now put those two steps together. Mooch, then the change of places, right? Right to left and then left to right. And then put the mooch with the developments, yeah? And then that way you start to see, oh wow, like there's actually some interesting ways to do this. At the end of the demonstration video I'm about to show you, you'll notice that we do a American spin, okay? And an American spin, if you don't know, right, is a step where the man links, he chasses on the spot, it's a compact chasse, and then he finishes. But that step can be started with a flick ball change. So you'll notice that little flick ball change coming in, because why? It can replace steps that have a link rock. So that's where you start to make jive. Think of how interesting jive can be, right? You take a mooch, a normal mooch, your normal change of places, woo, right? That's nice, right? But then take your mooch and make the development of the change of places where the lady spins, right? Then bring her back, let her run. So she does all the work, you just chill and lead. And then do your flick ball change. You'll start to notice that, and by the way, if it sounds like I'm speaking Swahili to you and you don't know what I'm talking about, that means you don't understand your basics very well. So I need you to take serious heed of the terminology, right? The usage of the words I'm saying, because that's how you're going to become an amazing dancer, is the quality of understanding comes down to your technical grounding, right? Knowing what a link is, what a fall-away rock is, what a chasse is, what the differences between the steps are, right? And then how they come together. Because this is seriously the difference between being a really average, boring social dancer and a kick-ass social dancer, or being an average competitor and a really great competitor, right? Because you can start to make variations in routines very easily without having crazy choreography. One pet peeve of mine is crazy choreography, right? That you can't execute. It takes a lot of practice. So, it's okay to have the routine and to not be very good at the routine in the beginning and then do the work, right? It's another thing to have a crazy routine and just not do the work and always be bad at it. It's better to have simple steps done well, right? Okay, so pound it out, boom. We made it today. It's been a big lesson. Appreciate your being here. Now, let me whack on the last two demos, the mooch again, then watch the developments and just pay attention to why they're in there so you can actually start to learn how to dance really, really well. It's been awesome having you here. Visit boringmastery.tv for some more free training. Join our membership program. We'd love to have you on the inside, and it's wonderful to have you here.